Hello, we are back live. Third time's a charm. This is week 3 of Instagram Live, Musician Monday. My name is John Klinghammer. I play clarinet in the Kansas City Symphony. And today we are going to be talking to violinist Dorris Dai Janssen. And let's see. I can't find her yet, but as soon as she hops on here, we're going to start talking to her about all kinds of things, violin and symphony related and otherwise. Let's see. This guy right here, this is a monkey. I like him. I thought it'd be nice to have him hanging over the shoulder, minding his own business. And there she is. Ta-da!
We did it.
We did it. Doris,
Oh,
how
gosh.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm lovely. Thank you. How is your summer been going?
It's been a different summer.
That's
Not gonna
for sure.
lie. It's not my favorite summer that I've ever experienced. We usually take a trip out to Wyoming every July, and we didn't do that this summer. The only other summer that I've missed in the last 20 years was a summer for my first child's birth. But otherwise, the last 20 years, we've made a trip out to Wyoming. I'm part of a music festival out in Wyoming, Grand Teton Music Festival. And we love going out there, and it was really, really sad to miss it. We were hoping to be out there for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks this summer. So that was quite a blow, and that usually breaks up our summer.
Right.
So by the time we come back, it's time to get the kids ready for school. And instead, we just got an email from the kids' teachers saying, get ready to come back from spring break in another month. So it's been very strange.
Yeah.
But we can't complain too much. We're happy and healthy, and
Good.
that's all we're just grateful for right now. So.
Yeah, I think that's the way to be. So I wanted to ask you, you started playing the violin when you were 3 years old, correct?
That's
Which
right.
is not uncommon for violinists, but it still seems pretty young.
Pretty young, yeah.
Yeah. And then, but you did not really have a plan to become a professional musician as you entered college. What was your plan at that point?
Well, starting the violin when I was so young was not a choice of mine. It was just, my family liked having violinists in the house. And so my brother and my sister were both violinists, and I followed suit. I didn't have a choice in the matter. And it didn't take me that long to discover how difficult it was, and that I really didn't want to practice that much. So I started asking my parents if I could quit pretty early on. I can distinctly remember 4th grade being like, I was done.
Wow.
But my parents kept me on, and they told me in high school that I need to keep playing a musical instrument to the end of high school, and then I could decide what I wanted to do. So, I had a small love affair with the flute, and I really enjoyed my time there. And but my parents also told me that you really need to continue with the violin. So I played until I graduated, and I was really excited because that was going to be freedom. That was the end of violin and practicing for hours. That was going to be the end, and I was going to get to do what I wanted to do. And so I was going to University of Texas into chemistry, a chemical engineering program. And
chemical engineering. Was this like this is something you were like interested in science, or was it more like okay, you were really a scientist
I was really
type of
into it.
person?
Yeah, I was really into it. Yeah, I was thinking about going into biomedicine at the time. I really loved biology and was really strong in math, and it just seemed like the right direction for me to go at that time. And then I don't know, something happened, and I really missed playing the violin. I really missed the camaraderie and the sense of belonging that you get when you play in an orchestra. You know, I started violin at 3, and I started playing in an orchestra at 7. So
Wow.
so that was, you know, that I've had that wonderful feeling of, you know, being surrounded by music and being a part of something big. You know, I'm just like one violinist, but to be part of something powerful. Yeah, you can't get away from that feeling for very long before you miss it. So yeah, I decided to change my major. I remember calling my parents and saying, hey, I think I want to change my mind about everything I'm doing right now and change my major and maybe come home and regroup. And it was a tough phone call to make, but they were very supportive, and you know, we figured it out.
Guess that's good. My parents used to always, when I talked about doing music, they were like, "Didn't you really like physics in high school? Weren't you really into physics?" I was like, "Well, yeah." But, um, somebody just asked, "What instrument do you wish you'd have been made to play as a child?" Are you glad violin was the one that you?
I think in the long run, whoops, excuse me, my phone is kind of set up precariously. But
Precarious. Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, it needs to be plugged in. Obviously, for the long run, yes, I'm very glad it's the violin. I think the violin is a beautiful instrument. It's really difficult, so there's no lack of challenge there, which I like. You know, I like the puzzle of and the figuring out of details, and definitely the violin gives me all of that. And then there's also the feeling of being part of a group when I'm in my section. I just love it. I love sitting in my violin section, and I miss them so much.
Hmm. And so, speaking of that, so you joined the Kansas City Symphony in 2000. You had an amusing audition story, which I don't totally understand, but explain it to me.
Yes. So I came to Kansas City in January, and it was very bleak, and it turned into an ice storm that weekend. I was in grad school at the time, and you know, it was my third audition. So you know, I was already out of sorts in so many ways, but then there was an ice storm, and we were basically blockaded in. There was no going to get any snacks or anything, and I remember the staff at the symphony being so kind and understanding of the situation, and they brought us food. They made sure we were comfortable. They got us whatever we needed, and I just thought, wow, these people, they really care, and I was really touched by them. Um, so I already liked a lot of the situation there, even though it was an uncomfortable audition. But so that first day, there were 2 days. The first day was for a violin 1 audition, and the second day was a violin 2 audition. And I was really hopeful that I would win the first day so that I didn't have to take a second audition the second day. And, you know, I was happy and, you know, just so excited to have made it through the final round. And then Dave Clark came out to make the announcement at the end, and he said, the committee would like to congratulate Doris. And I was just like, wow, that's incredible. And then he handed me a check, but it wasn't my check. It was somebody else's check. I mean, what we usually do is candidates send in an audition deposit, and then you get the deposit check back after you've come and taken the audition. Just a little insurance so that you show up. Right. And he handed me my check back, and it had somebody else's name on it. So I before I could get completely excited, I was just like, wait a minute, this is not my check. So did you mean to announce this person's name? So I couldn't get excited yet. It was so funny. And then he there was a look of confusion for a while, and he was not sure what to do, and he's checking the papers, and meanwhile I'm just like gripped. I'm like, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but I hope this is what I think it is. But anyway,
But he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure either. Like when you asked him, he was like, "Oh."
Well, he wanted to double check before he said anything again. So I was glad he double checked. I was just like holding my breath, and he did confirm that it was me. So I was so excited, and I decided to wait until I finished my my grad school studies, and then I joined the next fall.
Next fall, cool. I once went to an audition for an orchestra that I will not name, where when we went to get our checks back, our deposit checks back, they handed us cash because they had deposited all of the checks.
They needed to use it. They needed to use it.
They needed it. And I sat there and I thought, I was a student at the time, I was like, do I have $30 in my bank account? I'm not sure. I'm going to cash my check. Oh no.
I'm not sure if they were supposed to do that.
No, I don't know if that's normal. That's not very normal. That's the only time that's ever happened.
That's hilarious.
So now you're in the orchestra, and you were talking about how much you enjoy being in the ensemble, but over the years, you've had the opportunity to be acting assistant concertmaster, right? Which is basically third chair, first violin, but you wind up with concertmaster duties because people are sick or the rotations work out that you're playing concertmaster.
Yeah, we play so many different kinds of concerts that all three concertmasters get a workout for sure.
Get a workout, yeah. So what was that like? First of all, do you enjoy that? Like compared to playing in this section? Is it what's that experience like for you?
I'm really, I was really excited, and I hope I did my part to help out the group. I was really excited, and I learned a lot in that experience. It was 6 years of assistant concert mastering, and I mostly spent a lot of time doing bowings. It took me, usually we did a lot of opera bowings, and it would usually take me 10 hours to do a whole part that was blank. So I'm looking at my part, I'm looking at other string parts, and then I'm trying to be meticulous and consistent with my markings, and trying to keep out the errors for the future when we're actually in rehearsals. So listening and going through that with a fine-tooth comb, that ended up being a lot of hours of detailed work. But I also enjoyed having the ideas of my bowings put in the part. There's nothing I could complain about because they were my bowings and my ideas. So there's no complaining. And I also really enjoyed having kind of a deeper connection to some of the other section leaders and with the conductors, and also the audience. If you're in one of those titled chairs, the audience seems to recognize you a little more often. So I did, start to have more of a relationship with some audience members, which was, I was happy to step into that higher profile role for a little while. I'll say that it was very difficult, just hours wise and work wise. Those were the years that I also, was pregnant and then had 2 sons. So very difficult, long hours. I would sometimes, get through my day and then it'd be like 10:30 and it's time to practice now.
Right. So it's like you enjoy the challenge, but it's definitely
absolutely. And I was so happy to help in that way for a while and step into that role. But I was definitely also happy to go back into the section and have some of that time back and enjoy some time, with my family.
Sure. Josh Jones is asking you, what's your favorite audience experience or interaction? And maybe that occurred when you were acting as concertmaster. I don't know.
Wow. Well, I mean, some of them actually happened after, not necessarily in that role, but I'm trying to think of a good one. The first thing that came to mind when you said the question, oh gosh, I'm gonna have a problem with this.
That's okay. It's keeping us on our
Now I
toes.
can't see. Now I can't see your face.
That's
I
all
have
right.
like this comment box, and it won't go away. I don't know how to get rid of it because I don't know how to use Instagram. Okay, I'll just keep going since you
That's
can see
fine.
me fine.
That's
Um,
fine.
well, the first thing that came to mind was we did a pop show. I don't know if you remember where there was a conga line. So I mean, I dragged a bunch of people into a conga line. Do you remember that?
I don't know. Was I here for that? That
I'm
sounds.
sure you were. I'm
Was
sure
I?
you were. Maybe you
Maybe.
were off that pop concert.
Maybe I missed it. Yeah. I feel like I would have remembered a conga line that you were leading or something. But
Well, yeah, okay, I'll tell you one experience I had. There's an Indigo girls concert that we played that I was concertmaster, and one of their songs starts with a violin solo. So, the last number is over, the clapping has died down and it's nice and quiet, and the conductor tells me to start, my solo all by myself. And so I start and I play like three notes, and the crowd goes crazy because they know what song it is. They know it's not really for me,
I
but
see.
they know what song it is and they're excited, right? And I remember having to sit on this one note for a long, long time because the whole hall had just erupted. It was so amazing, and I just thought, wow, the power of music to just like trigger something.
Right.
I didn't do anything fantastic, but it's the power of music that these people really connected to this song, and they just it really connected with them. I mean, I I
That's
I,
cool.
I won't ever forget that. That was really cool.
That's a really good story. Um, so then in 2011, Kauffman Center opens, and you were telling me that you really felt there was something about it that really felt like you thought, oh, this job is going to be different now.
Yes. Yes.
What can you explain what you mean by that?
I think there was a moment of realization. Oh, look at that lovely
Look at
picture.
that.
Aw. Usually when we're backstage before a concert, things are pretty private, that's separate from the audience. And, we get to relax. We're doing our stretches. We're, taking care of whatever we need to take care of before we're on stage, on display. And, out in
Mhm.
public, really. It still feels very private, even though, lots of, 100 people might be backstage together. It still feels kind of private. But that on opening night in the Hellsberg Hall, there was so much commotion, and there were even cameras backstage. And I was unpacking my instrument, and we were all dressed up. So it was already feeling a little more special because we were told to dress up a little more. So I was dressed
Mhm.
up, and there were lights, people walking around with cameras and lights, and I'm unpacking my instrument, and suddenly I have a camera like right in my face and
Oh,
lights
wow.
right here, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm just supposed to be very natural opening my case. Am I supposed to be doing something special? And I remember feeling actually pretty nervous in that moment, just taken aback. And I realized then that, this elevated profile of this hall was going to bring a lot more eyes to us. It was going to change how much exposure we got. And, back in the old hall in the Lyric, we didn't have open rehearsals. We didn't have people milling about the hall, but,
Mhm.
as soon as we moved into Hellsberg Hall, we had lots of people around. Open rehearsals were normal, and people even in and around the hall before open rehearsals. There were just a lot more eyes on you. And then also with the expansion of social media, having cameras in rehearsals before we've even played through a piece together.
Right.
That never happened before. And there was definitely a learning curve with that. it felt uncomfortable at the beginning, for sure.
Hmm. How does it feel like, I mean, I assume that you're, I mean, you already have a sense of pride in the group that you're in the orchestra, but I feel like I personally, I mean, I've only known working in the Kaufman Center in Hillsburg Hall, but when I go to work, I just kind of I feel very proud of like, wow, that's my office.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
amazing,
I
and the
love that.
change must have been
Yeah,
striking.
I love that you have that picture there, because it's true. I drive up I-35 to get to work, and it yields a great view
It does.
driving to work. And no matter what the weather, no matter what kind of lights they have on the building, I always think about, as I'm driving up, yeah, that's where I'm going, and I'm going to meet a lot of people there, and I'm going to go put on a show, and I hope that I can do my part to make this show, a great experience for these thousands of people that are here. Yeah, I'm always really excited
Yeah.
to drive there and be a part of whatever's happening inside that building. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get you out on this. Um, you started violin when you were 3. You were a Suzuki student, right?
Yes.
And you said you like teaching little kids. And I saw you have a video on the symphony's website that's really like it's really great to me. Like I can tell like, oh, Doris knows how to teach really little guys. And I wonder like what is the secret to teaching a 3-year-old, to I don't know, stand still and then like play the violin.
I think oops, there's my dog.
There's the
I think
dog.
I
Oh wait,
think
we've got
lots
some
of
of that
people
too.
have there are lots of teachers that have different tricks, but I think, hey, Squishy, calm down, calm down. Oh yeah, there's my dog. She's she's worried about somebody walking outside.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, well, so I will say, with a 3-year-old and young students, it can't be about technique right away. It's more about developing a relationship. And of
Mhm.
course, you have to think about the best part of music. What is fun and what is enjoyable, and just trying to spread that interest with them. So trying to capture their attention for even 15 minutes is great. I mean, I don't start with anything long. I think most teachers are pretty forgiving right at the beginning. Just trying to
Mhm.
capture the imagination and the interest, and making something fun, showing them something different every time, gaining some trust, and having them also realize that playing an instrument is something special. It's something to be, once you have their interest and attention, you can make it into a situation where they will do whatever is necessary to be able to play and emulate you.
Mhm.
So it is kind of a game, and it's so fun to watch little kids develop in their own unique ways.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Doris, thank you so much for joining us on here. It was a real pleasure to talk to you and hear about all of this stuff. Um,
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking with you. I mean, we don't get to do it quite so often right now, and I really miss you and Maria and everyone that's in the symphonies right now so much.
we really appreciate that. We miss you as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you maybe on a symphony trailer sometime soon.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping for a chance at that trailer. Can't wait.
All right. Great. Thanks, Doris.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.